Orcs were skilled hunters. They were naturally good at finding and catching things. They weren't as smart as people, but they were much better at finding and catching animals that weren't very strong. Now that the doorway, the thing that kept them trapped in the underground world, was gone, the hunters came out. Guaro? The orcs used their feet to move the bodies of the young boys who were in their way, and looked around. Sniff, sniff. The orcs had been holding their breath for a whole week while they waited in the dark underground. It's no surprise they were so upset by the scent of blood and injuries everywhere. But this group was only the first to arrive. Even though they were angry, they had to be careful, because many more of their group were waiting behind the glowing doorway for news. The building around them had tall, straight walls with lots of doors and windows. The leader of the group quickly noticed it was a confusing place, like a castle. The creature growled, and its nose twitched. He knew he had two options. One option was to quickly leave the hall and find animals to hunt. The other was to attack all the people inside the castle, take over the castle, and then hunt. It was obvious which plan was better and less risky. The leader sharply told one of his helpers what to do. "Let our brothers come." He looked up at the ceiling. The creature's ears moved as he listened for sounds from above. One floor up, then another, and even higher. The building was full of people. His head hurt from a voice constantly telling him to attack. "Okay," he said, and showed his teeth. "We will begin by searching inside the building." A large group of people had come to Guangali Beach. Even though the sky was gray and cloudy, everyone was looking at one thing, a big gate that had appeared on the sand. The police and the Hunters Association worked together to block the area and keep people away, but more and more onlookers kept arriving. "Sir," the new worker said nervously to his boss, explaining that he had almost been stepped on by the crowd. "Do we have to handle this every time a gate opens?" But the supervisor was also surprised by what was happening. They had never seen so many people around a gate before. "We will just have to manage it. This is one of the largest openings anyone has ever seen in Busan." They quickly glanced over their shoulders at the huge hole hanging in the air. It felt like it could pull them in if they looked at it too long, so they tried their best to ignore it. Of course, the gate usually isn't dangerous unless someone escapes from where they're held. Even so, many people didn't like them. Similar to how some people are very afraid of the ocean or space. So when people were working outside, those in charge mostly hoped the hunters would take care of these scary openings. Thinking about this particular mission, there was one thing that made them feel a little better. The new person on the team seemed to be thinking the same thing. "Wow, boss. Did you hear something?" "Hear what?" "I heard a really strong hunter from Seoul is coming." Everyone had heard about it.
The supervisor thought about half the people here came to see the special gate, and the other half came to see the famous hunter, Hunter Jin Woo-sung. "Yes, that's him. Do you know him?"
"Why are you so happy?"
No. The new team member's face turned red, and he quickly shook his hands. "To be honest, this will be the first time I've seen a top-level hunter." So the team leader sighed, annoyed. "Hunter Sung is new just like you, so why are you acting so different?"
"Sir, if you have time to talk, why don't you help out and work a little longer? I'm resting, because my leg hurts from standing all day."
The team leader made a sound of frustration as the new team member's angry look showed. He felt unfairly treated.
Even though the experienced hunter didn't fully trust the new hunter, he could see why the new hunter was excited. "I have to admit, I'm also interested in Hunter Sung. Everyone is talking about him." "You are too, sir." "Yes, because he defeated the leader of a very difficult dungeon all by himself. That leader was a giant ant, and the most powerful monster in a dungeon on Jeju Island." The fight with the giant mutated ant really stuck with people. Many who watched it on television thought that ant was the main enemy, because defeating the main enemy closes the special gate. Everyone believed Shen Wu was a hunter strong enough to close an S-rank gate, all by himself. It wasn't surprising people said Jin Wu was as strong as the best hunters in the country. Of course he was getting so much attention. "Wow! An S-rank hunter is coming. I wonder what one looks like in real life." The supervisor felt a little strange because of the new hunter's excited look. Was he here to watch hunters instead of work? The new hunter didn't notice his boss's annoyed look, and kept staring with excitement. "Hey boss, what is it now? I heard it's really hard to look directly into the eyes of a very powerful hunter." "Have you ever met someone really amazing at their job?" The boss remembered a work trip he took to Gwangju. "I have." "Wow." The older man, who was annoyed at first, now felt proud that the new employee seemed impressed. "What was it like, sir? Were you afraid?" "Let me tell you, It was intense. I met Hunter Dongwook Ma from the Fame Guild last year when I was working on an important task. Excuse me. I just need to get through. Yes, of course. The two workers from our organization quickly moved aside to let a man walk between them. Then they went back to their places. The supervisor looked back at the man with the hood. What's wrong, boss? Nothing. I just thought he looked familiar. Really, that's strange.
I thought so too. Does he work with the group? Let me think.
Wait, what was I talking about? You were talking about Hunter Maya from the Fame Guild. Oh yes, I met Hunter Maya once, and he was so big. His shoulders were really wide. Wow, it seemed the supervisor and the trainee were alike. In many ways. Hunter Sung, Jongsu Park was so happy to see Jinwoo. He sounded like he might cry, which wasn't usual for a grown man. It showed how important this mission was. Jinwoo quietly looked at the time while Jongsu greeted him excitedly. He watched the numbers on his phone change from 10:59 to 11,000. Good. Jinwoo smiled. Even though he took a longer path using a skill to stay hidden and avoid trouble, he still arrived on time. He was starting the mission well. He finally looked up and saw the gate. It was bigger than he expected. The gate was much larger than it appeared in the videos he had watched. And just as everyone had said, it was filled with a lot of magical energy. What kinds of magical creatures would he find inside? Jinwoo couldn't help but smile. Besides being unusually large, the gate didn't seem strange in any other way. As you would expect at any mission, there were two groups of newer hunters waiting around. These were the teams that collected things and the teams that dug things up. The more you knew, the more you noticed. And because of his time with the Hunters Guild, Jinwoo could easily tell the groups apart by their clothes and tools. There were also guild workers running around busy as usual. Experience really was the best teacher.
Oh, he actually came. Mr. Jinwoo Sung.
Jongsu called him over, and the skilled hunters started to gather around Jinwoo. Their faces lit up as soon as they recognized him. As he quickly greeted each hunter, Jinwoo carefully looked them over. He counted 30 very skilled hunters. Just as Jongsu had said, the number and skill of the Knights Guild's A and B rank. Hunters were as good as the Hunters Guilds. Of course he expected this from a guild that represented an entire area of Korea. Also everyone was wearing either armor or protective clothing filled with magical energy. So the name Knight really fit them well. It was too bad such a great guild was often not appreciated because they didn't have any S-rank members. Jinwoo realized why President Park had quickly asked him to become part of the Knights Guild. By the time Jinwoo finished thinking, he was standing with the other hunters. After a short pause, everyone started trying to talk to him. Hunter Sung, your work on Jeju Island was really impressive. How do you call those black soldiers? Or maybe you're wondering if they are really helpers. Are you planning to lead the attack today? Jinwoo wasn't sure how to answer all the questions. Please stop. Healer Yurim, who had asked Jinwoo to join them, moved the other hunters away and walked forward. You're making Hunter Sung feel awkward. Please stop behaving like you don't know what you're doing. She looked sternly at her coworkers. Experienced healers were a lot like responsible adults who worried about everyone's health and safety. The team members held back their arguments and kept quiet, just like kids who had been told they were wrong. Haze, Yurim laughed quietly to herself. She turned and held out her hand to Jinwoo. I'm Yurim Jung, the main healer for the best team in the Knights Guild. She smiled at him as she spoke. I think the leader and the healer should be friends, right? Jinwoo looked away from Yurim, who was clearly hoping for something more than friendship, and toward Jongsu. Didn't you tell them everything yet? Well, the problem is, Jongsu ran his hand through his hair, feeling embarrassed. I've been very busy with all the forms and getting everyone together. He laughed a little awkwardly, then looked at the other hunters around him. Everyone on the team had gathered in front of him, so he only needed to explain things once. My name is Jongsu Park, and I will lead this mission. Some people in the group started to complain quietly. The president again, but Hunter Sung is here. Is this alright? Jongsu was a very strong A-rank hunter, so it made sense for him to be in charge of the mission. Usually when he felt well, he led most of the raids for the Knights Guild. But now there was a very powerful hunter with an S rank joining the team. It made sense that the strongest hunter would lead. Jongsu quickly explained this to his confused team members. Hunter Jinwoo Sung will protect us and stay at the back of the group. This was what Jiangsu asked for. He wanted Jinwoo to make sure everyone was safe from the rear. This was important for both keeping the Knights Guild safe and showing respect. Strong hunters who were good at fighting usually walked in front. Hunters who were less strong or easily hurt, like magic users, medics or those who helped others, walked in the back. The Knights Guild was having trouble finding new members, so it was very important that these hunters stayed safe. They needed them to keep the guild going. So what if they put Jinwoo in the back with the others who needed protection? The team could move forward quickly without fearing an attack from behind. In fact, they would almost want enemies to attack from the rear, because Jin Woo-sung, who had defeated thousands of powerful magical creatures on Jeju Island, would be the one facing them. If enemies kept attacking from behind, the team might even be able to finish work early. That was why Jiangsu had made his request. The second problem was more urgent. Jiangsu gulped and watched the group of reporters behind the police line. It proved this event was getting a lot of attention. If they weren't careful, people might think the Knights Guild was only succeeding because of Jinwoo. It was true, but he didn't want people to think that. The real reason for this event was to show everyone that the Knights Guild was still powerful and active. That is why he really wanted Jinwoo to join. He and Hunter Sung had talked a lot about it, so Jiangsu told his team they would talk about any problems after the mission was finished. But just then, wait a minute, sir. I don't understand why we're doing this. A strong hunter took a step forward. He was new to the group and had just joined. Are we not strong enough to protect ourselves? The older hunters looked worried when he asked that. They were shocked. Hey, one of them said to the young hunter. He looked to be about the same age as Jinwoo. The young hunter seemed very confident. Didn't everyone think that was true? It was easy to see why he felt so confident. He was the best new hunter this year, and people had praised him almost as much as they praised Chul Kim, so he had good reason to be proud. The only trouble was he was making a mistake. Mr. Jinwoo Sung, do the strongest members of the Knights Guild seem weak to you? Jinwoo held back a laugh and listened to the new hunter speak. Everyone else was very nervous. Where was this new hunter getting such confidence? Oh dear. Was this his first time meeting a very powerful hunter? Someone should tell him to stop. This wasn't the right time or place to say such things. Seeing his seniors speechless and Jinwoo not saying anything made the new hunter even more confident. And you too, President Park Mi. Was it Jiangsu's turn to be surprised? The leader of the group couldn't believe it, as he pointed to himself. I know the strongest hunters earn a lot of money, but why would you agree to give him half of the earnings? He is just one person, not a whole group. Jiangsu looked at Jinwoo for help because his head started to hurt. Hunter Sung, I am trusting him to you. Jinwoo nodded seriously. Anyway, I do not understand why the agreement is so strange. Suddenly, Igris appeared in front of the hunter who was complaining. Eek! The hunter jumped back, surprised by the powerful magic coming from the knight in black armor. He hadn't even taken 2 steps back when he bumped into something solid. He quickly turned around and saw another knight, much taller than the first, looking down at him iron. Whoa! He exclaimed and felt a chill run down his spine. Something touched his shoulder and he slowly turned his head to see a figure in a black robe with a hood. Ah! The new soldier's legs gave way as he felt dark energy coming from Fang. I feel a little bad for him, so I won't summon Baru right now. The 3 knight-level soldiers went back into the shadows when Jinwoo waved his hand. He walked over to the shaking man and offered a hand. Do you understand now? The new warrior grabbed Jinwoo's hand and stood up, though a little unsteadily. He nodded his head quickly. That was all. Jinwoo and the Knights Guild team moved to the front of the entrance, but before they went inside, just one moment, please. President Park and Vice President Jung checked everyone's gear and made sure the team was ready. Standing before the gate, their excitement faded and everything was quiet. Jinwoo wasn't sure when it started, but he had begun to enjoy the strong feeling of anticipation just before going into a dungeon. It felt like it helped him focus his thoughts. Once Jinwoo used to be scared of getting a call from the Hunter Association and would ignore every ringing phone. It was surprising to even think he could feel differently now. We're ready, sir. Okay. Jiangsu nodded and walked toward Jinwoo, who was standing away from the other hunters. They looked at each other. Hunter Sung. Yes. Jinwoo relaxed his arms and looked at the guild master. Jiangsu bowed his head to Jinwoo. I look forward to working with you. It was a quick sentence that showed many feelings. Jinwoo said the same thing back. I look forward to working with you too. Jongsu and Yoontae went into the gate first, then the rest of the group followed. After making sure everyone was inside, Jinwoo walked in. You have entered the dungeon. This message appeared for Jinwoo only, as usual. Jinwoo blinked, surprised. The dungeon had hallways large enough for enormous giants to walk through. He hadn't explored many high-level dungeons, but he had been in one before. What was strange wasn't how big this dungeon was, but how it felt. What was going on? For some reason Jinwoo felt calm and relaxed inside. He had felt scary air in many underground places, but this was the first time he felt okay in one. Just then someone shouted, "It's an ogre." Even though Jinwoo felt safe, the team ran into trouble right away. A two-headed ogre. Everyone, be careful. A powerful monster that could be the leader of a difficult underground place guarded the entrance, its red eyes glowing. Prize! Two-headed ogres were much bigger than normal ogres, and incredibly strong. The regular soldiers would be very scared to face one. Let's go. The best hunters from the Knights Guild quickly started their attack. Jongsu, the strong defender, ran to the front with his shield up. As soon as the large monster saw him, it swung a club that looked like a tree it had pulled from the ground. Bam! The strong hit shook the whole cave. But Jongsu, who had made his muscles stronger with a special ability, bent his knees and held firm. Boss, I'm okay. Then I'll help too. Yoontae, another strong defender, stood next to Jongsu. Jongsu had successfully gotten the monster's attention, so he shouted loudly. Attack! At his signal the Knights Guild's counterattack began. Arrows, spells, swords and spears flew toward the two-headed ogre. Bra AK. The very angry monster became wild, but Jongsu made sure it only focused on the main defender, and Yoontae quickly moved to block any attacks that got through. Stomp. Yoontae slid backward, his feet making long marks on the ground as he blocked a kick. Thanks to him, the other hunters weren't hurt at all. Grunts. Slowly, the fighters attacked the ogre together, working really well as a team. It was easy to see why the Knights Guild was the best group in the Yeongnam region. Groan. Finally, the ogre started to get weak and fell over. Thud. The powerful beast was defeated without anyone getting hurt. The team had won perfectly. Great. Jongsu cheered, raising both his hands. Were they extra happy? Because they had a visitor. He and his teammates were feeling really good today. Jongsu wondered what Jinwoo thought of how well they played. It would be amazing if their teamwork impressed Jinwoo enough to want to join their group. Jongsu looked at Jinwoo, and their eyes met. The large vehicle felt strange, as if the top hunter knew what he was thinking. After thinking it over, the hunter smiled, and walked closer. We will keep going after we get back together. Okay, Jinwoo said, understanding. He could use potions to get his energy and strength back, but the other hunters could not. They needed a short break after fighting such a powerful monster. Jongsu looked at the large creature with a worried expression. This isn't good. Jinwoo turned to look at him. This challenge won't be as simple as I thought. I can't believe we met a two-headed ogre so soon. Jongsu rubbed his chin and then smiled at Jinwoo. Do you know what people call these creatures? Jinwoo shook his head. Jongsu quickly answered, they're called grave keepers. Was it because so many people who fought them didn't survive? But Jongsu's explanation was very different from what Jinwoo thought would happen. He looked deep into the cave. It felt like something bad was coming from inside. He said if you find a two-headed ogre near the entrance instead of where the boss is. He sounded worried when he said it. It means the prison is full of creatures that were once alive. The emergency center of the Hunters Association got a very important phone call. A teenage girl was on the other end of the line. Is this the association? The person answering the phone could tell by the girl's crying that something bad had happened. Yes, it is. Please tell me what's wrong. I'm at my school. There are magical creatures outside. Outside. Where are you right now? I'm hiding. I was with my friend. But my friend Hick. I'm in the bathroom. It was hard to understand the girl, because she was crying so much, but the worker was able to figure out what she meant. An alarm was sent to the Hunters Association right away. Magical creatures were seen at the school. Someone is hurt. The person calling is hiding. Could dangerous creatures have escaped inside the school? The staff member felt scared thinking about it, and tried to focus on saving the girl. How many creatures are there? Are they close by? I don't know. Oh, no. The sounds, there are too many sounds. I'm scared. Will I be okay? Please try to stay calm and listen to me. The person answering the phone had done this job for a long time, and understood how frightened people become when they are in danger. It was very important to stay calm in situations like this. The main goal was to help the person calling feel better and tell them what to do. That's what it meant to work at an emergency call center. People from the hunting group are coming now. They will try very hard to help you, so you need to stay calm until they arrive. Do you understand? Really? Then I won't die. The voice on the phone sounded less scared. That was a good thing.